Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 11 of Vandals. We took a hiatus, as I think I've said 3 or 4 times at the beginning of these videos now, but we're back, and we are back with a special guest. It is TSM's very own Guimon. I love saying your name just because I feel a little French every time I say
French, for sure.
Dude, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm exhausted a little bit, but we'll get there, and we'll make playoffs. I'm pretty sure. We'll get there.
Well, look, man, welcome to the show, and welcome back to VCT. It's so good to have you back, bro. Congratulations on not just qualifying, but new TSM roster, all of it in there. You've had a lot going on.
For sure. I'm glad to be back on in the league in VCT. Last time I played was like LCQ, and last time we played with Gen.G in those qualifiers, it didn't go as planned. So obviously I haven't had. But it all happened so fast. I don't think I realized that yet. Like I have no downtime to think about it. Like I'm not in Texas. I have like my house back home that I need to probably sell or do something with it. I have a lot to do, and yeah, we'll get there.
All right, you touched on Gen.G. That's exactly where I want to go right off the bat, because for so long everyone has known you and Gen.G, right? You've always been synonymous, and you're a founding member. There was a lot of consistency with that roster, right? Like you guys were consistently top 4, never quite getting there. What went wrong with that roster?
I think we can say that we're like we're the old Xset, like out where Xset is right now. Like always consistent, out top 4. Like, I mean, I think they do play better than us, but like in that time with the other teams, I think we were like the top 4 team at all times. It was tough to beat like the Envy and Sentinels. It was very tough. I think we were I think top 3 was probably Envy, TSM, Sentinels, always fourth. So obviously it was rough, but it's hard to make roster moves or changes when you're right there, right? Like you were competing with these teams. We're doing well. We won before with this roster. So the first move we did was with Effie's, getting rid of Effie's for Sean, which I think still to this date, I think it's the right move. I think the GM over there, Blank, shout out to him. I think he made the right moves. I think it was tough for us to make moves because we're all friends. So obviously he had to make the moves. And I think that was the right one. I think Effie's did well on V1. I think under our system, he was not fully free, and I don't think he played to his best under our system. So I think both scenarios, like both parties, won. I think Sean did well on the team. I think Effie did well on V1. So yeah, that was the first move that happened. When we kept losing, we moved away. I think we lost to Moon Raccoons that tournament, and then we moved on from Effie's. It was a tough move. Effie's was a good leader. He was a good teammate, good friend of mine. So obviously that was rough. We had to do it. So then we got Sean. We did a bit better, I think. We did the first Masters. We got 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. So that was our best run.
Sean was nuts.
Yeah, Sean was very good in that run. We all did well. I think my calling was way better that tournament. I think Sean popped off. Danny was at his peak. Like everything was like. I think how it happens like we all peaked at the right time, and I think that was a bit unlucky for the roster because we thought we were sick, and then after that we were not that sick. So obviously at that point we changed Danny win for Nature, which again Nature is an insane player. He's one of the best players I played with. So Nature comes in, and I think we do so well in scrims. I think we got Kusta as well. At some point we got Kusta. I don't know when. I don't know how. We got Kusta somehow. So we got that roster built, and I think we did super well. Actually, the first move was Kusta for Danny when got moved, and then Kusta joined. And then I think we did pretty well. And then the Michael move happened, which to this day is still sad. I miss Michael every day, but that's when Nature came in. Nature was insane. We did so well in scrims. We went to boot camp. We decided that it was going to be Kusta calling instead of me and Nature. Kusta has a good mind for the game. He's a very smart guy. But I don't think he's a bit quiet sometimes. So I think he was working on it. He got so much better at the end, and I think it was a good piece for us. But yeah, we did so well in scrims, and then we played that tournament. We got like I don't know. We didn't feel right. Like when we got a Rhyme as well. Like the whole roster was moved. Like, we got Rhyme. We got a whole new roster. We played those VC qualifiers. We have like we can't play the game because we are in 2 different pages. We got Rhyme that wants to play a bit of a more EU style, like fighting, like a bit more chaos. And we got
Mm-hmm.
Kusa that wants to play the CS style, or like the more slow, methodical player.
Sure.
So in all these games were just on two different pages. It's so bad. It was so bad. It was not even anyone's fault. It was just like we have different ideas, but we have no time to talk about it. We have this tournament right now.
Right.
I thought we thought we had more time. Like it comes out that we have no time. We can't really fix anything. We put band-aids on band-aids. Like we're trying to fix small stuff. Nothing's going fucking right. We're losing to dude. This tournament, the last VCT I played with Gen.G, it's not anyone's fault, but it was a fucking shit show. Like we lost to BBG and then we lost to Sonics the first time around.
Yep.
And then we lost to Sonics and Renegades. The last game, we're winning 11-1 against Renegades, third map. And we threw that game. We were winning 11-1.
Uh-huh.
We're boot camping in LA. We're on the office. It's 11-1. We're all laughing. Two stats, 20 kills at half. We're all laughing, having fun. Like, yeah, we have two more BO3s to win to qualify. Well,
Disaster.
we lost that one.
Disaster.
11-1. Yeah. And then, from that point, I remember that when we lost, because I was in the 1v1 to lose the game. And when I lost, I was like, my heart was pounding. I was bro. Because everything hits you. Like we've been there for a month. Working our asses off. We know it's bad. We're doing well. A bit better in the second qualifier, way better in the second. And then this disaster comes in. But I'm so used to losing leads. But 11-1 is a new one. 11-1 is definitely a new one.
Yeah.
It cannot get worse than that. So I mean, it could, but I don't know if it can happen ever again. So yeah, that little ride at the end with Gen.G was not super fun because of what happened. But I love those guys and I love the org and all this stuff. But it was definitely a shit show at the end. And when we lost the 11-1 lead, I mean, we knew we had a break. We knew it wasn't fun. We knew we had to like work on so much stuff. And then Kusta got removed or left or whatever. And then looking for a new player again. Like we didn't have a fifth. Like last time we had a full fifth was at before LCQ with Michael. We get rid of Michael at LCQ for temperature. We don't want temperature anymore. Whatever. So we never had a fifth for like over 6 months or 4 months, whatever. So it's like it's bad, man. Trying out people every day, like switching roles. It was just bad. So yeah, that's what happened at the end with Gen.G. But that's why I mean the whole we can talk about it later. But the whole TSM trade or whatever happened so fast. So yeah.
Well, it sounds, especially you were mentioning not having a solid fifth for as long as you did, the compressed nature of the schedule and really everything there. You're right. You don't have a whole lot of time to figure stuff out, and you do end up in situations where you're just throwing a Band-Aid on top of a Band-Aid and hoping that you can make it look decently pretty.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the Band-Aid is just not good enough. And I think in this game, there's a lot of Band-Aids in this game because you have such a stacked schedule. It's tough to buy people. Like sometimes you think, okay, I'm gonna buy out this guy and then make that, or to asking for 4 millions for a guy that like doesn't like I don't know the whole system doesn't make sense. So you have plans and then orgs get in and then so it's like I don't know. It's you don't have time and when you mess up your original plan, you put band-aids and then for the whole season you have band-aids on.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
Well, I mean, there are a couple of teams that come to mind that have found themselves in those situations and have had to scratch it. So I absolutely relate. Now, I want to transition over to TSM because again, it just was, when did you join? April, right? This is pretty recent. Yeah, mid-April.
I have the whole story. I have the whole story that is absolutely insane. I think that's probably the first time I say it because I didn't have enough time. So there's a week basically on streams were rough. Streams were not even rough, but at the end I was definitely not a good teammate. I was definitely not putting my all 100% at the end of Gen.G. I was not motivated anymore. I was like definitely a rough spot in my life and even in games. So that was tough. So I realized that I was not helping the team. I told the coach, I told the GM, I was like, I'm not helping. I'm trying to like not all the us down, but like some people are pushing like forward and I'm just going backwards.
Yeah.
So I told the GM and I told the coach, I was like, if anyone wants to buy me out, like I think we should talk about it. I think we should see what's up because I'm not helping. And I've been there for 2 years. Like I know the GM's awesome. I love Blank. I love the coach as well. So yeah, Blank. I love Blank. And then I kind of talked about it, and then it was I probably said that on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, Monday, and then on Wednesday after practice, I go downstairs. I'm on my couch doing my thing. And I get a DM from Blind saying, "Can we talk?" So I knew something was up, so I go up there and he tells me that he agrees with me. He thinks so. That's on Wednesday at this point of
Hmm.
after practice. So he tells me that he agrees with me. He thinks that it's probably better if I move, and then they will put me on the bench until I find a team. Uh, so TSM was always talking to me. There's a bit of it's two other teams that were talking to me that were uh, decent orgs and teams
Mm.
at that point, but I was still scared of like being. 'Cause I still like Gen.G. I was very confident on Gen.G. So when he tells me that Wednesday, I'm like, all right, so I need to find a team now. It's not like in my hands anymore. They're
Yeah.
moving away from me, which I get, right? Like I don't want to play. It's not that I don't want to play anymore, but it's like I told them I do feel like I should probably move. And obviously, they want to build a roster that believes in it, and
Right.
that made sense. So yeah, so Wednesday he tells me that, and the whole night I'm like, bro, what? Because I've been there for 2 years. That's my whole like the
That's
whole
a
Gen G was
that's a big
my whole life
change.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was very confident, like, and then it's full like unknown for me. Like I didn't know where I was gonna end up. Like so during the night he texted me back and forth about like what are we gonna do, like which team, etc. So the next morning, so basically I talked to Yassine, me and Subroza are pretty close friends, and
Mm.
he's telling me that they want me or whatever. So but it still doesn't mean anything because I
Right.
just got benched, so it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So I talked, and then Blind that night tells me that I have a tryout with TSM the next day. So I was like, and then I talked to Subroza a little bit. I'm like, the next morning, I'm like, I was very excited though. I was very excited for something new, but it's still scary. And then he tells me that he wants me to play initiators instead of controller.
Mm.
But I've been playing controller for a year. It's a new team I'm trying out. So my whole future right now is me just getting sent to war on KO Sky. And yeah, so that day I did pretty well. We played Gen.G actually, so I was definitely
That's
I don't know. I was
convenient.
feeling
Yeah.
it. That's yeah. It's a bit weird, but obviously yeah, I did well in that trial. The next day they wanted me, but the thing is, I still wanted to because my plan when because I've been on JG for 2 years, my plan was more TSM. Whenever I get bench or I want to take a break, I'll take a break to take some time for myself because I've been
Hmm.
nonstop grinding for the last 2 years, and I had 12 hours to maybe like take a break. So I was like, I want to think about what I want to do.
Yeah.
There was two other teams that wanted to talk to me, so I was willing to hear about it. But TSM moved faster. TSM was willing to buy me out. Was trying to buy me out, trying to move faster. And other orders were trying to tell me like, oh wait, like a week, still a week or 2 weeks. I'm like, we should keep it up. I don't want to be
Yeah. There's no time, man.
mess. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have no time. So I told them that they understood, and I moved with TSM. And then I'm still playing from my place. I practiced for maybe 4 days from my house, and then I was talking to the GM and the manager as well from TSM, and telling me like basically, so I have a P1 visa with Gen.G, so we had to do the whole thing so I could move to Texas. Uh, so yeah, I thought it was gonna be 2 weeks. I was told it was 2 weeks. No blame. I'm not blaming TSM at all for that.
Hmm.
Not blaming anyone for that.
Hmm.
But then the 2 weeks became 2 days.
Oh.
So I had to moved from my place in 2 days, yet to Texas. On a whole, I don't know anyone but Yassine, which I know a lot. Like I love Yassine, and
Right. You know him
it
well.
helped me. I
Yeah.
know him well, and I made it way easier for me.
Mm.
But still, 2 days. So I pack my stuff. I leave. My cat's back home. Like the whole thing is like I
Just.
have nothing. I had 2 days to do something. So I did my taxes and left. That's it. Did my taxes for a day and just
You
left.
got-
And that's the most important thing. And then I came here, and I've been nonstop grinding, eating DoorDash, and pretty much yeah, eating fast food, drink a little bit. There's a pool here back there, relax a bit, and that's it.
the gamer diet.
Daily diet for sure.
Listen, I'm gonna ask you a very pointed question, because TSM, to be honest, for a long time they struggled, right? Why join a roster and a project that seemed to lack both success and then even to a further degree identity to begin with?
Especially losing Wardell and the whole team's gone. Literally the whole roster is gone except you see. All I saw is that on Gen.G I was in a tough spot.
Mm.
I don't even like in my head like when I joined when I wanted to join TSM, it was like Gen.G or TSM is not in a better spot as far as like talent goes or like roster, like they're on a better spot. But I needed fresh air, and I think Gen.G needed some fresh air. So that was the first thing I thought about. Was like we both need some fresh air. And I might help over there. Someone might help Gen.G. So the only I think Seven is an insane player, an insane prospect.
He's
That's one
nuts.
thing. And then Corey's insane. I know you've seen the orange is massive. Uh, so in my head, it was either so the TSM fan base like very like insane, and
They're
it's a lot of
passionate.
people. They're passionate for
They're
sure.
passionate.
So and that way, I was like, either if I join and I make it horrible, I will be sending like I'll know I fucked up. Like they'll make sure
Yeah,
I know.
they'll tell you.
But yeah, but then if you jump in that team and you do better, then it's a
Mhm.
massive yeah. It's people see you as a someone that helped moving forward and not the opposite way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it was a risk. It was a risk for me. It was scary as well. But yeah, the reason why I joined is definitely you seen Subroza like being one of my closest friends and someone that I really appreciate playing with. So that was one of the reasons that the org is massive. Some fresh air like that. That's how I saw it, fresh air. And then I think Seven, as much as I love Matt and how Wardell plays and how insane he is, I think you cannot see the potential of a team because obviously they're built around it, right? So
Yeah.
you don't know how good the players are. You just know how Wardell is, and Wardell's
Mhm.
insane. Wardell can make a team
He's Wardell.
average good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a insane talent, but you gotta understand that the players around him don't look the best around him. Like they'll definitely be better. I'm not saying the team will be better, but the players will show a lot better and show their full potential if he's not on the team.
Right.
Because then they have more room, and it's not
Mhm.
even a shot against him. Any superstar that you build around, your players will look worse or not look as good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so I knew that. So when they lost Matt, I was like, Corey maybe can pick up that role, and like Steven and Corey can pick up the superstar roles, and then me as senior Rossi can support them and make them get more kills, get more impact, win more games. That's how I saw it, basically.
You've mentioned Yassine Subroza. You've mentioned him a couple of times. You guys have background. You competed back well together well before Valorant, so you guys have known each other for a bit. I want to get a bit personal here. What is it about Subroza specifically that made you want to join this project?
Um, First of all, as far as the scene, like as a person, I don't think there's a lot of people that work harder than him, and there's not a lot of people that want it more than him.
Mm.
So that was definitely a reason. Like you are in good hands if you're with that guy.
Mm.
So back in CS, he helped me a ton. I think I owe him a lot through my career in CS, and the same obviously kind of. If I didn't do okay in CS and I didn't make a name for myself in CS, then I don't think I would have been here in Valorant.
Mm.
So I definitely owe him a lot for that as a mentor. He was like definitely someone I love playing with. I learned a ton from him, and just as he helped me get to know the right people and to get on. Like I got many tryouts because of him. I got tryouts because of him. I tried with him on pro teams. So he definitely helped me a ton for that. So we definitely got closer, and I believe in him for that reason. And then just as far as like a outside perspective, the guy is like I don't think people get it, but like he's IGLing for us. He's literally waking up in the morning, streaming hours before and hours after. He's putting 150% in practice. He's still like putting like effort into his own brand, which I cannot blame him for that. Like, and he could literally go streaming and make way more money, way more like way less stressful. Like, the fact that he wants to compete shows me that he
Yeah.
wants to win more than anyone. So all these like other streamers, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them in Valorant, and I promise you, Yassine is the one that plays the most. That wants it. He wants it more than anybody else
Mm.
on any team. I think he's definitely someone that wants to win. He always prioritizes gaming and history over anything. So I mean, when you can team with a guy like that, and I know him, like why would I not? You know?
Yeah. Sure. 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 No, that makes a ton of sense. So I want to throw us back a little bit again, and I want to compare Gen.G to TSM because in your heyday, in the prime of both of these organizations, there were a lot of battles between the two of you. And then you kind of watched while you had your own stuff going on with Gen.G and the fall from grace. TSM really oddly, almost on an identical trajectory, had the same schedule
God.
as
Yeah.
they fell apart. From someone in your shoes who was on the outside looking in, what was your assessment of TSM and kind of how things played out over the last year or so before they decided to scratch the project?
That was definitely worse than us in a way because they were definitely better and they had bigger players and they like we knew on
Mm-hmm.
Gen.G what we had to do to compete. We knew we had to play more than anybody else. We knew just we didn't have the talent really. We just had the hard work
Sure.
and that people attached up to that. But yeah, so the outside perspective is pretty much like the meta kind of like fucked them. I think with John like having one of the best like Phoenix in the game, and moving out from Phoenix, and him playing Soba, and then uh, them getting. I don't think them getting rid of James or Hayes was the right thing. I understand the Cutler move, and I think we can like any players that you get rid of that either don't play the game anymore or not on top teams. You can't really like argue that was a bad
Right.
move, right?
Yeah. You look
Like
at that and you go, that was right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to, and it's not a shot to Cutler. I think he's a good player, but
Right.
he's not playing anymore. So yeah, I think the Cutler move was fine. I think the Taylor move, like Drone, I don't know. I was not in the team, but obviously the meta switch definitely fucked them over. So now they need a Sova. They have Matt on a character like a. He's not a one trick, but he's definitely the most impactful on Jet
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
now. So you have to force it on Jet. You need a Sova player. He seems to play smokes. And then who was it back then on? It was Matt, Wardell, Joan, James, Yassine, and then what am I missing? Who was the fifth back then? That it was I guess who did they pick up for Cutler? I don't remember.
Did they pick up
Oh,
for color?
that Brax at first. That Brax at first. That lasted like a couple days, and then I think it might have been
I'm looking now. Hang
it
on.
might have been the Aleko and Bang move at that point.
Let me look.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I think it was for Leco. When
Yeah.
was that?
So
Yeah.
I don't remember. But either way, like they picked up a youngster.
Uh-huh.
They picked up Chet, which I think Chet probably one of the best coaches in I mean FPS as far as like CS and Valorant goes. So you have a good coach. Yeah, they pick up Bang for James and then Aleko for Cutler, and then they have two young players with three somewhat experienced players. I think like wait, what? That doesn't make sense. Who?
There are
So they have
gaps in
Taylor.
here, yeah.
So I don't know, but they ended up with who did Drone play with? They had Matt, you seen Drone.
Hayes.
Who did it? No, James was there. So James, so they got Bang and Aleko for Joan and Cutler. Then is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, either
It's
way,
also crazy that feels like forever ago.
yeah,
I
it
mean, we
feels
hadn't even been that long.
yeah. But either way, they got two rookies with a outstanding coach. But again, you don't have time to build it. You don't have time to build those players and like make them in, like mold them into a player that you want. So Chet leave that team at the end because obviously they he doesn't. I don't think he wants not that he doesn't want to, but he doesn't have enough time to build those rookies into star players, like responsible players. So now you have like rookies and no coaches. They had no coach at that point. They tried coaches from the academy team. They also have like yeah, they said Bang and you see like they had roles that didn't make sense. Aleko was a silver main, but then you see play duelist and then
It
so
was a
can
mess.
Bang. Yeah, it was a mess. So they had two young players, and I think it didn't work out. And then yeah, I think they had a lot of roles issues. And then when you don't have a coach anymore, you have two rookies. You've been falling down. Nobody wants to win. Not that they don't want to win, but like nobody wants to. It's so much work, right? It's so much work, and then you see that's been
Yeah.
through it all. Matt has been through it all. So I think I think there's at some point you have no motivation, so you need someone to like. So either from fresh air, like a coaching staff that comes in and be like, okay, you do this, we'll do this, and we'll make it work, but we need time. And it didn't happen at that time, so they kind of died over time. And then when you don't like, and I know how they felt, and I felt the same on Gen.G when we kept falling down, and like you keep falling, you fall deeper and deeper. Somehow, somewhere, you find a deeper hole, and then there's just it's just insane. And people like Gen.G didn't have the pressure that TSM had. So
Yeah. It
I
was
feel
worse.
like yeah, the way I felt was not even close to how they felt because they have like they have Matt, who's a superstar, they have Isida, who's super experienced and does well. They still don't do well. So obviously, yeah, I from the outside perspective, it was a role issues, and I think the not commitment, but like motivation at some point because you keep falling. You don't want to. I think it was motivation. Uh, the coaching staff was not there anymore, and it kills the team pretty fast.
Now
Yeah.
you start to think about everything you just talked through in regards to TSM and what that has looked like over the last 2 years. And there are, in some ways, a lot of parallels between you individually and TSM and their trajectory, right? Like you were at a peak, you guys were playing consistently, and then there's this pretty sharp fall from grace. You hit a bottom, and then you somehow find a lower bottom to hit yourself into, right? And now you find yourself in this really unique spot where you have a chance at redemption, right? Where you're back on the VCT stage. You said it at the beginning. This is what just happened this past weekend was your first VCT match since LCQ, which again feels like an eternity ago. But in a lot of ways, the trajectory between you individually and TSM, it's almost eerie how similar they are.
Yeah, we started being at the top, and they definitely were better than us, but we definitely were up there with them. And then yeah, I kind of with the old roster, we were up there with them, and then fell down at the same time. They stayed along a bit more, but they definitely came back to they catch up to us pretty fast in that trajectory. So
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, it feels good to be. 'Cause you gotta see it that way. Like
Mm.
Gen.G did better without me. I think they picked up Stanley. They did well. So I think they did well for obviously they didn't have the result they wanted, but they did get worse. So that party wins, and then me as a player, I win because I'm now in BCT, and I feel like more motivated, and then I win, and then TSM wins because they were in a deeper hole, and then everyone wins, and literally everyone wins in that situation. So obviously everyone's motivated, everyone's happy. Literally everyone's happy because we're all in deeper spots and deeper holes weeks before. So we're all going up, and then that's what I liked about the team is we're all going up and not going up, but like all improving and developing at the same time. Like we were working on stuff. My role that I had to change, I worked on it. Rossi worked on it. Like Johan, the 7 is young, he's working on. Like we're all progressing in the same way at the same rate, and it's fun. It's been a fun ride so far. Obviously, yesterday we lost to Energy. Two very close games that could have gone either way.
Mm.
And I'm confident we'll make playoffs, and from there anything can happen.
You mentioned everyone is working, everyone is progressing. The interesting thing for you guys, Guimon, is that it seems like you're doing it at your way, right? Like you're doing it your own way. You, prior to the series yesterday or this past weekend, were almost exclusively playing Breach, which you see some of in North America, but really hasn't been fully adopted. Now the transition to Fade, which we're going to talk about in a moment. I think the fun thing for you and seemingly a culture for the entire team is that you're going to do things your way at your pace, right? And even in a lot of ways, it's interesting because it is a la what TSM used to be in this the your wayness. I didn't want to call it stubbornness, but you're committed to your approach to the game and your philosophy to the game. And it seems to be working.
Yeah, I think if everyone thinks that we did our own way, yes, we're not ready for next week. It's gonna be a whole new way that yes, we're not ready for. And I think no, I think the fact that we have a lot of versatile players, like we can change. I can go controller, you see the no initiator, Ross can play smokes, I can play smokes. Like we can play so many different roles that makes it very easy to adapt and change other stuff fast. So we're trying stuff, and then obviously when I joined, I was KO Breach, not KO Breach, sorry, KO Sky at first. And then we played Breach on one map, and we're like, hey, Breach pretty good. And then we play on different maps, and then I ended up having my arm out on the whole game, but I was out there, and we did well. Like it's tough. And every game I was like, bro, you press down, you're 9 and 14 or whatever. You're like, bro, like what am I doing? Like, and it's tough for me because I think on Gen.G I was someone that was like getting mine every round, or like getting my like I was definitely up on the scoreboard,
Mm-hmm.
which was hard for me to be like, okay, now like, it doesn't matter, like don't press down, doesn't fucking matter. Kobe has 30, that's you're stunning for him, you're flashing for him, and then yeah, from that point, and we played Breach, and we're back to a new meta, and we switch, and we do well. So I think we competed well against Energy. We did small mistakes that costed us. That had nothing to do with agents, nothing to do with comps, nothing to do with the meta. It was
Mm.
literally 5v5 FPS mistakes, and that happens. Obviously, they did some mistakes themselves, and in the game, in any esports, it's always the one that makes the less mistakes. Everyone's that makes
Sure.
it's the one that makes the less mistakes. So we're definitely good at adapting, and that's why I think they can we can do like our own way. Like we have flexible players. We have a lot of like we work so hard. Like today, like if we're changing something, everyone's when I went to the practice room, everyone's playing. Everyone's playing their agent. Everyone's playing their new roles. Everyone's playing their new characters. Their new like like everyone's working hard, and everyone's in Texas. I've been out like twice to like eat dinner with friends, and that's it. Like I've been grinding the whole way. So like everyone's doing the same thing. So we can afford to do these things and those changes because we're working harder than I don't think anyone. I think Optic probably works the same, but I don't think there's no way people are working on this. There's no way people put more time. There's not enough hours in the day to make like. There's no way. Like mathematically, there's no way people put in more time. So I think that's why we can afford to do those things. And next week will be a different one for sure.
Next week will be a lot of fun. I need to bring us back again though. So
Fade.
yeah, Fade, bro, we've got to talk about Fade. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a believer. You've got 30 seconds. Convince me on why Fade is good.
The Prowler is so good that it's like 3 bullets. It's like a better Sky Flash with less range, and then the eye is pretty good if you have like different lineups or like different one that are very hard to shoot or like the out of the map or whatever. So it's definitely cheesy. It's definitely it's better. It's better when people think. Probably worse than what we think. I think there's a middle ground. There's a middle ground where people don't believe it, but then also we believe it too much. But yeah, I think Fate is good just because it's a new character. The Prowler is very good. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the snare that I showed a bit on a set yesterday, and then man, it's not bad. Can you get more value out of another character? Maybe, but it's not bad.
Do you think that we'll see her? I was actually, honestly, I was surprised we saw her as much as we did. Do you think we will see less of her in the coming weeks?
So I think people just it's like a cheesy. It's like when a new agent comes out, right? Like
Yeah.
the impact will go lower and lower. But I think still think the agent's good. I think we'll see it less because people get used to it. That's it.
I want to bring us back to TSM. You think about North America as a landscape, a return to VCT. This question may be a bit too early to ask, but as you consider the other teams that are competing alongside you, would you say that you guys have a rival at this point, or any team that you specifically like playing or specifically like beating more than others?
I'm kind of new here, but definitely. I mean, as far as fan base goes, like 100 teams, like we like playing them. We like playing them. I think it's a little rivalry there. We play them next week, so I don't want to talk too much. Like I don't want to give get in trouble, but I definitely do think there's something there with 100 teams. I think they're both teams are rebuilding. Both teams have massive fan base, and I think that's why I think fan base, and then yeah, just that you want to be the best rebuild. You want to like okay, you want to be like both teams are rebuilding, both teams are massive fan base. Okay, we want to be the best out of the two, and I think that makes sense. As far as like team goes, like obviously you want to be. I think we compete with the. I think the top teams right now is probably C9, Optic, Xset, and Energy. I would say. Maybe I forgot a team in there, and then I hope I don't get shit talk for that. But I definitely do think those are the top teams that compete with them every like in script in matches too. We never get owned. Like we lost this to Energy. We made massive mistakes, and we still competed with them. So obviously, I think the guard maybe I was a bit harsh with the guard, but they're a young team. They're having some issues right now, but I don't think they're bad. I just think they got so good so fast that people got way higher expectations than they should have.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them, right? They did so well. So yeah, I think the top teams are Xset, Energy, right out there.
Culture-wise, as I think about you individually, what is one thing that you feel like you specifically bring to this newly revamped TSM roster?
I think some energy, some good positive vibes in matches. In scrims, I'm not super positive. I get mad like everybody else. But in matches, though, you'll get the best out of me. You'll get the best. Not I don't want to say the best teammate, but no, yeah, I think in matches I definitely cannot think about someone else that has more impact as far as like the mood goes, attitude goes, and just vibes. Like if you watch my voice com videos, like I'm always like gassing my teammates up, like yelling and making sure. And I think that's what you need in a team that was struggling before. And yeah, you just gotta make sure that people are excited to play. Like
Yeah.
we're running around, like we're running around. We know how important it is. Like fuck it, like make sure that people know. And then obviously in game, like I don't. I that's something I really have been saying forever. Like if you can tell in your voice in TeamSpeak that you're losing, then you lose the game. If you can tell
Mm-hmm.
by the
Mm-hmm.
voices and how people are down, if I can tell that you're losing in TeamSpeak, you're losing the game 100%.
Yeah.
You will lose the game, and then I don't want that to happen. And we're doing pretty well at that. Every time we lose, we learn so much. I know it's cliche, but it really is the truth. Like when we lost to Lenny time 3 weeks ago, and then now we're like competing in VCT. We lost to Energy, which is a top team right now. They 2-0 us, obviously, but it was two close games. We learn every time we lose. Hopefully, we don't have to learn that much again in the next upcoming weeks. But I think we'll make playoffs. I think we'll do well. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about 7? As you think about your role on this team, and by no means are you old, but when you compare yourself to someone like 7, you do have you certainly have a leg up on him, more life experience if nothing else. Do you feel a responsibility to be a mature leader, at least in some regard, alongside Subroza on this team? Do you feel any of that pressure?
I think definitely. I'm not that old, but I've been competing in this game since, like not in this game, but in esports, probably since around the same time as him, like 16 or
Yeah.
17. So I know I've been through the same stuff he's been through, and there's definitely more pressure in Valorant than it was in, like you playing for TSM. When at his age, I was playing for. I think I joined my first pro team when I was on Rogue. We had no pressure. Everyone thought we were shit. Didn't matter. I was doing my best out there, but it's not the same pressure.
Mm.
So I can understand to an extent like how hard it is for him. He has to move here by himself. He's 16. We're here with him, and in game I'm definitely less on his back because he has a lot going on. He's good.
Mm.
He wants to learn. So obviously you're a bit not more soft, but like more. Yeah, you're more careful with him because
Sure.
he's young. He's a prospect. You don't want to fuck this up. He's a very good player. You want to make sure that happens.
Mm.
So obviously, I've been trying to I've been trying to help him, obviously, but he's such a talent, such a like he wants to win, he wants to learn. There's literally nothing wrong with this guy, and I think that I don't see why he couldn't be like one of the best in the game in a few months. Honestly, obviously, he has to work on some stuff. I have to work on some stuff. Everyone does, but I see definitely myself in him. In a way where the thing is, it's tough because we play different roles. He's such a he's been put in that superstar role where in CS and even Valorant, I was never like a superstar. I was more of a responsible player,
Mm.
doing my thing and making sure I was doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see like he has a lot of pressure on him. I know he gets. We all get nervous, obviously, but I'm trying to push him into that like positive vibes and don't think about it too much. Like we
Yeah.
lost. We lose a game. He's literally in a spike rush with his girlfriend 10 minutes after. So I know he's not like super. I don't want him to get in his head
Yeah.
because he's young, right? You don't want him to get in his head. He knows he has to be a star for us. He knows that, but you don't want to be in his head too much about it. Like,
Right.
hey, he lost. Like, hey, move on, bro. Like, go have fun and make sure that you don't get tilted. I'm 21. And I still get mad after loss. Like when we lost yesterday, literally did not say a word for the. Everyone was talking. I did not say a word for the next 20 minutes. I was upset. I was mad.
Mm.
But like obviously, I don't want him to get in his head. You cannot.
Right.
If you're
Yeah.
16, you cannot get in your head. Do not get in your head. Get away from it. You don't need to be in there.
Well, and the truth is, at 16 years old, for better or for worse, you're going to lose a lot in your career. Like there are a whole lot more losses in front of you. So yeah, if you find out how to weather some of that early on in your career and learn how to handle those losses while learning in stride, you set yourself up super well. Guimon, what's one thing you want people to know about you at the end of this stage?
I think I want people to know that I was not like I was very impactful to the teams I've been on. Like obviously Gen.G was bad at the end. We were bad at the end, but I think when I'm in the right mindset, the right mood, and the right obviously not mood because mood is like a bit more vague, but definitely if
Sure.
I'm in the right mindset, and I in the right mental state or whatever, I think I can be very impactful to the team. I can make everything better. I think I'm versatile. I can play any roles. I want everyone to know that. Like if someone needs, like at some point, if there's free, like as a free agent, I was definitely the best option they could have got, and I want to make sure that there's no question. There's no like maybe they could have got that guy. Literally, if we do well, I want to make sure people know that I was impactful and that was the right move for TSM.
Last question that I have for you. You mentioned the TSM fan base earlier, and we dubbed them as passionate. and they are. Is there anything you have to say or want to say to the TSM faithful?
Obviously, I appreciate all of you supporting. I appreciate all of you believing in that new roster. And obviously, so far, I don't think we disappointed so far. And obviously, we keep pushing. I appreciate all of you supporting. I wanted you guys to know that we want it just as bad as you guys want it. Like, we're always pushing the right way. We're doing the right thing. So obviously, I want to make sure that before you send a message that might have been a bit mean, make sure that we know we want it just as bad. And obviously, we appreciate all the nice messages, all the support we've been getting to DMs, even on the TSM Discord. Appreciate all of you, and hopefully make you guys proud for sure.
Guimon, thank you so much for joining me. Best of luck to you this weekend, folks who are watching. If you love the content, please support the channel. Click like. Drop a comment about how good looking and outrageously handsome Guimon is, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Additionally, if there are other folks that you want to see on the channel, please let me know below. That's going to do it for us. Episode 11 of Vandals. We'll see you next time.